Welcome to our guide on how to answer case interviews. Today, I'll walk you through practical steps to help you ace your next consulting interview. Whether you're new to case interviews or refining your technique, this session will equip you with proven strategies and frameworks for success. Let's start by understanding what makes case interviews so important. Case interviews are a major part of the selection process for consulting roles. They're not just another interview style. They're designed to assess how you tackle complex business challenges. Companies are looking for evidence of your problem-solving skills, how you think analytically, and your general approach to ambiguous scenarios. So, mastering case interviews means mastering the ability to break down real-world business problems in a clear, confident, and structured manner. Let's dive deeper into the foundational approach you should take. The first step is understanding the case prompt. It's critical to listen carefully to every detail the interviewer shares. Sometimes, the smallest hint can change your approach. Don't hesitate to ask clarifying questions. Making sure you understand what's being asked will save you from unnecessary mistakes. Once you grasp the prompt, define the problem in your own words. This step ensures you're solving the right issue and not getting lost in the details. Carefully outline the objectives, the specific goals you need to achieve in your answer. Next, structure your approach using a proven framework. There are many to choose from, such as SWOT analysis, the 4 Ps of marketing, or Porter's 5 forces. Pick one that fits the problem best, and then break the issue into smaller, manageable parts. Tackling one piece at a time will keep your analysis organized and thorough. Now, let's add to this foundation and talk about building hypotheses and analyzing the case. After identifying the problem, it's time to develop a hypothesis. Based on the data you have, make an educated guess about what's really happening. Clearly state any assumptions behind your thinking. This shows analytical rigor and transparency. Next comes the analysis phase. Start by requesting any additional data or information from your interviewer. Use quantitative methods such as calculations and data analysis to support your hypothesis. Don't overlook qualitative factors like market trends and customer behaviors. Often, these can be just as crucial. When both types of analysis are done, synthesize your findings. That means combining your quantitative results with qualitative insights for a comprehensive view. Finally, check whether your evidence supports or challenges your initial hypothesis. This validation step is the backbone of good consulting. Let's take this further and cover how to turn analysis into action. Once your findings are clear, you need to formulate recommendations. It's not enough to have ideas. You must present solutions that are actionable and practical. That means detailing clear steps your client can take, rooted in your analysis. Outline how these solutions would be implemented to reassure the interviewer that your suggestions are feasible. Communication is just as vital as analysis. Structure your findings and recommendations so your logic is easy to follow. Make use of visual aids, charts, graphs, diagrams, whenever possible, as these make complex ideas easier to digest. And remember, case interviews are interactive. Be prepared to respond to questions and engage in genuine discussion about your ideas. Now, let's apply this method to a classic case interview scenario in accounting. Imagine you're presented with this situation. A mid-sized manufacturing company is facing declining profitability, and the CFO suspects issues with cost management and internal controls. First, clarify exactly what part of the company or time frame you're investigating. Understanding the scope keeps your analysis targeted and relevant. Define the core problem. Here, we suspect that declining profitability could stem from poor cost management and weak internal controls. Your approach should start with a detailed cost analysis. Break down both fixed and variable costs to spot inefficiencies. Then, evaluate how well internal controls are actually working to catch potential weaknesses. Develop a hypothesis. Are production inefficiencies and weak controls the reason for falling profits? Your next step is to test this theory. Let's see how you'd continue this case. Now it's time to analyze the data. Start with a cost variance analysis to pinpoint where the company is overspending. Then, review audit reports and control procedures to identify gaps or lapses in control. Next, synthesize your findings. Summarize which cost drivers and controls are problematic. Often, you'll see clear patterns emerging. From here, you make recommendations. Introduce measures to manage costs more effectively and strengthen internal controls. These might include regular audits and specific process changes. Communicate your findings clearly, backing them up with data and actionable recommendations that the client can act on. Let's switch gears and look at a finance case. Here's another scenario. A private equity firm is considering acquiring a retail chain and wants to know if it's a smart investment. Start by clarifying what metrics matter most and what the acquisition goals are. Your analysis will focus on financial viability. Can this chain really deliver the returns the firm is seeking? Dig into the company's financial performance. Analyze historical financial statements for trends in profitability and liquidity. Then perform valuation analyses using methods like discounted cash flow, DCF, and comparisons to similar companies. Develop your initial hypothesis. Based on starting metrics, is this a good investment? Let's continue by detailing the analysis and recommendations in this finance case. Begin your analysis by calculating key financial ratios, such as profitability and liquidity. Follow that with a thorough valuation, comparing DCF results to market multiples. When you've finished your calculations, synthesize the findings to summarize the company's overall financial health. Based on this, you'll recommend whether to proceed with the acquisition. Include notes on risk mitigation, such as identifying potential obstacles and how to address them. Finally, present your analysis and recommendations clearly, with supporting data, so decision-makers can act confidently. To round out our domain-specific examples, let's look at a supply chain case. Imagine a global electronics manufacturer is dealing with supply chain disruptions caused by geopolitical tensions. Your job is to advise on how to address the issue. First, clarify the specific disruptions and affected regions. A clear understanding here shapes a precise and effective analysis. Define the problem. How are disruptions impacting production and delivery? Structure your approach by mapping the entire supply chain. Knowing where bottlenecks exist is crucial. Assess risks in each part of the supply chain to identify vulnerabilities. Develop a hypothesis. Can diversifying suppliers and improving logistics reduce the impact of disruptions? This will guide your recommendations. Now, let's focus on analyzing the situation and crafting solutions for supply chain disruptions. Start by examining key metrics like delivery times and production bottlenecks. Look for patterns and root causes, paying close attention to regions or suppliers most affected by geopolitical events. Use both data, from order logs and shipment records, and qualitative insights, such as feedback from operations teams. Once you've synthesized the findings, you'll highlight the main areas of vulnerability in the supply chain. These could include over-reliance on certain suppliers, inefficient logistics hubs, or lack of contingency planning. Your recommendations at this stage should be clear and practical. Suggest diversifying the supplier base, investing in alternative shipping routes, and building flexible inventory systems. You might also advise the client to strengthen partnerships for better forecasting and to use technology platforms that boost visibility across the supply chain. When communicating your solution, illustrate the benefits and implementation steps. Paint a picture of how these changes could reduce risk, improve reliability, and mitigate disruption, even in unpredictable times. As we transition to the final slide, let's tie all these strategies together and discuss a few tips for delivering your case interview effectively. To close, let's focus on how to deliver your case interview answers with confidence and professionalism, transforming strong analysis into memorable presentations. First, be clear and concise. While detailed analysis is vital, your delivery should avoid excessive complexity and jargon. Use straightforward language and logical flow so your recommendations are easy to understand. Maintain eye contact and engage with your interviewer. This demonstrates confidence and helps you build rapport, a key component in consulting settings. Don't be afraid to pause and gather your thoughts. Sometimes, a thoughtful moment can make your next point even stronger. Remember to paraphrase and expand on bullet points, just like we've done throughout the script. Providing context and tangible examples makes your answers far more persuasive than simply reading off the slide. Finally, Finish each case presentation with a brief summary of your main findings and recommendations. This leaves your interviewer with a clear, lasting impression of your approach. Thank you for joining this walkthrough on how to answer case interviews. By applying these frameworks, analyzing problems methodically, and communicating your solutions clearly, you'll be well prepared for the next step in your consulting career. Good luck, and go ace that interview.